Now the chip on this path has been here 3 years, because I've never touched this chip yet. So all I'm doing is I'm raking off the surface the fresher chip that's probably put on 2 years ago. To be honest, there's not much chip in it. It's pretty much soil. I've already raked this, by the way, so I've raked about 1 inch or 1.5 inches of the top dressing of chip, and I've put it on the ends of these beds here. Right guys, June 3 years ago I put down this weed membrane here because the ground was just so horrendously weedy around these borders with couch grass, with every kind of grass, the horrible grasses. And I figured then the only way to sort of defeat it, it was under this fence, it was thick in these borders, was to put this membrane down and give us a chance, and I started piling the chip on. Now you see the chip underneath, lovely, it's almost soil, it's full of little worms. So this chip, what I'm saying is, I'm going to take up this weed membrane, so it's all going to come up, and the chip that's on these edges here, this is going to go into these beds, these flower borders. That's going to be stacked upon these flower borders and really going to bring these borders to life this year. This cloth is about that wide, so it's right on the edges of these growing beds here. And I've noticed when I'm planting on the end of these beds, I'm sometimes hitting this membrane, so I want it out. So this is going to be a bit of a task. As I say, I'm going to sieve it with about a 12mm sieve. Just get the finer stuff, which will virtually look like, you know, beautiful compost when it's been sieved. And then all these chunks and lumps go back onto the soil, and then I'll rake all this finer chip that I've raked off the surface back on top of there. And we're going to need about another 2 to 3 inches of chip putting on this path. So as soon as the chip guy brings some more wood chip, we'll be on that and just top this path back up again. That's where my weed membrane goes to, about, not there, it's there now. So I need to scrape the chip off up to there. I actually think that plant there is growing over the top of the chip as well. Yeah, you can see these bean roots here, they're travelling on top of the weed membrane. They're the roots off these beans, which is why I wanted to get this stuff out. Again, just so many earthworms in this. Yeah, this is all the roots off this. Another big earthworm. Such a nightmare to get out. Whew. No, solid. I'm gonna have to cut that with the spade. Whew, there we go guys, it's out. I've just remembered I'm rubbish at plant names. It's an iris. Look how it spreads. I remember last year we were saying we need to cut this iris back because it really was invading into the path, kind of taking over. So I've taken that out, all that root out. I've cut it back there to the edge of the path. I'm gonna cut that bit out as well there. It's so thick you can't get the spade in. It's so hard. What I did, I put my hurry in, and I've just been kind of slicing it because it grows like crazy, this thing. It'll be 5 foot tall by the middle of summer, and its seeds are growing everywhere in the path every year. So it won't do any harm to cut it back a little bit more. Let's try and get the spade in now. That's easier. It still doesn't want to come out. There we go. That clump as well. That's going to be better, definitely. For no other reason, it was getting that out. What I will do now, I will bring some slate from home and just dig it into this, around this, just to keep it contained in that area. It can put its roots out through Chris's instead of into the end of these beds. It might keep it a bit more compact. Just trying to limit it to there. Right, I can start shoveling this chip into the barrow now. Once I've got my 4 barrowfuls, all the rest I'll just rake back level into the bottom of this path, and I'll just wait till some more chip comes and I'll top up the path again. See, it's about a 12mm sieve, this. Of course, this isn't just wood chip, because the soil gets pulled into the paths from the animals, from birds scratching around. So yeah, I didn't sieve this chip, you see. So now I'm going to peel the mat back and I'll start putting this chip back under the path. And then of course the chip I've raked off here will be raked back into the path, like so. Get everything tickety-boo again. Yes, I'm going to carry on. I've got about 16 foot along the bed, and that's the second barrow full. So there's plenty of chip on here. As I say, I'm only taking 4 barrows. Right guys, the path is done. It's actually a couple of days later. I've got the camera on steady shot. I hope it's okay. I've got to just trim about 6 inches of compost on the end of this bed. You can see it's a very sticky and muddy, the path. But I'm putting a lot of finer chip back on top. Sieve chip I'll put back on top actually. So I didn't have to go right to the end of the shed, because I remembered when I got to here that part I'd run out of that weed membrane stuff, so I'd actually put a couple of layers of cardboard down there when I did them paths. So that's all done, and then all I had to do was come down this path here in front of the apple trees to there. I didn't actually sieve this, I just dumped it back on. I've got my 4 barrows. I'm just going to show you that chip now. It's lovely stuff, but I'm so glad I've got this out of this path. I took the other stuff out the year before from all these other paths, and when I made this side again, I'd run out of that weed membrane, so I just put 2 layers of cardboard down here, so I didn't have to remove this. And that's my suggestion, guys. If you're going to put chip on your paths, do not put that weed membrane down. Just put a couple of layers of cardboard and put your wood chip on, because it's just so much better. Here we are. Here's that lovely chip. Isn't that stunning? Look at it. Lovely. It's all the same. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bags, which equates to 4 wheelbarrowfuls, and that's plenty to go earthing up the potatoes with the compost. Right guys, I've also finished the fence now, almost anyway. I've got this end done. What I've done with the netting here, I folded it over twice at the top, and I've put this 90-degree angle on. What it's going to do, it's going to strengthen the netting at the top here, because what happens is in the next month the pheasants are going to go absolutely batshit nut job crazy, chasing each other around. And what they do is they literally just go smack bang into the fences, hit them, and it starts to buckle and bend the wire and weaken it. So I'm hoping that this fold on top will stop that top completely bending, you know, and the netting slowly been destroyed. I put a new tin on there, I put the netting on there, and I've made my way all the way down to that point over there. Can't continue until Chris is emptying these compost bins, which he says he's doing at the minute, and then I'll get them last 2 tins and 2 posts put in. Yes, and that's the last big fencing job on the plot. Well, it's not actually, because I've got to sort the fence out at the back of the allotment, and I'm doing that one this summer. But it's buried. We'll stop all these mice and rats and moles and voles and things crawling under the fence to some degree, not to all degrees. But if any rabbits get over Chris's fence over there, they can't now get into mine. That's it for this one, guys. We'll be planting the potatoes here on Monday. You're going to join me for that, and I'll also be sowing some carrots, the first sowing of carrots for the year. Okay, thanks for watching, and bye for now.